Before we get into the video, I wanted to quickly emphasize that in this video we are talking about mainly healthy guys that have been shooting their bow for a couple of years or more, building up reps and building up strength and drawing their bow a lot, not necessarily beginners. And we want to stress that regardless of if you're a beginner or if you've been shooting a while, you should only shoot what you're comfortable shooting and what you shoot the best with, because in archery, accuracy is the most important thing, and in bow hunting, shot placement is by far the most critical thing. So you should only shoot what you shoot the best with. But the point of this video is to really try to point out that you can definitely build up to 70 pounds over time, and really we believe there's no reason not to. At the end of this video, and really throughout, we give a lot of tips that you guys can use to try to increase your draw weight if you choose to. And that's kind of one of the reasons we wanted to make this video, is because whenever we make a video talking about increasing our draw weight, or even just talking about our bow setups in general, we get quite a few comments that honestly people get themselves pretty worked up over it. Some people get kind of mad, and they really truly believe that you shouldn't be shooting 70 pounds, and they almost don't believe that it's possible to do so comfortably and accurately in hunting situations. So this is our side of the discussion. We get enough comments that we thought it was worth pointing out and showing our viewpoint. So that's why we wanted to make this video and really just show that it's completely possible. And if you guys don't shoot 70 pounds yourself and you want to comment below and start a discussion, go right ahead. We love reading your guys' feedback. Post down below, but don't preface it by talking about how macho you are, so that you can try to prove that you're just doing it by choice. It's not about being macho. That was the other point of this video, is drawing your bow back is a lot more to do with technique, and strength is a completely learned skill. That's why skinny guys can deadlift 600 pounds a lot of times, or well, not a lot of times, but sometimes skinny guys can deadlift 600 pounds. Strength is a learned movement, so it's not all about being big and strong. And that was the other point of this video that we try to point out. So if you want to comment down below, don't preface it by telling us how big and strong you are and that you still don't shoot 70 pounds, because it doesn't matter. So without further ado, we'll get in the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. And now you're uphill for me.
I'm naturally taller than you, Hunter.
No.
We go downhill. Whoop! Oh, you look so much taller.
Well, let's just remember to breathe a little bit when we're watching this video. Don't get yourself too worked up or offended. But without further ado, we will start off the video. And this is, I guess I feel a little bit more strongly about this probably than Trevor does. But in my opinion, I think pretty much everybody between the ages of 20 to 45, 50 can and probably should be drawing 70 pounds.
If they don't have like an injury that stops it.
Right. But I've had 2 shoulder surgeries too, and I'll put that out there. Like,
sure.
I'm fine. And it wasn't because of drawing the bow either. It didn't cause these injuries. I was a wrestler and weightlifter, so anyway, that caused the injuries. But you know, wherever you're at, even if you are injured, just constantly be trying to improve and make yourself better and work at stuff, and you can draw 70 pounds. The main point of this video is not to basically act like I'm some macho guy or he's some macho guy. Like, I'm 160 pounds. I'm not a big dude. I'm not like some
I eat Oreos almost every night.
I eat Oreos every day. And I'm not some gifted, it's like drawing 70 pounds is not some human feat of nature that sometimes it's made out to be. So the main thing is just getting across that I believe everybody can be shooting 70 pounds. Most everybody, I should say. There's obviously going to be some caveats. And trying to get away from that mindset a little bit of being just good enough. And the argument against shooting 70 pounds is like, okay, my wife shoots a 40-pound bow and she could kill any animal in North America. And it's a valid argument, right? Like, if you make a good shot, I completely agree. With a 40, 50-pound bow, you can kill every animal in North America. And
with the right shot and with the right setup. But
exactly.
You also have those people who send us messages all the time about arrow setup. It's like, well, I'm shooting 63 pounds and I'm trying to decide if a 465 grain arrow oh, he's gonna work. I'm currently shooting 455 right now. What should I do? It's like, okay, what's your bow max out at? 70 pounds? Just turn it up and run with it.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Right.
I mean,
There's obviously it's probably still gonna work, but everything becomes a little bit more critical if you hit bone. Like you come into these lower draw weights with a heavy mechanical, you hit a rib bone square on, and you're definitely not going to get a pass through. So it's like, why wouldn't you strive to basically maximize everything? And like, you're not going to be able to change your draw length, or you shouldn't. At least you should shoot what's right for you. You're not going to be able to change a lot of things, but if you work and you shoot your bow a lot, honestly, that's all it takes is shooting your bow a lot. You can easily get to 70 pounds, and it's not like it's some magical number. And it doesn't have to be stopping at 70 pounds. We say 70 because most manufacturers kind of stop at 70. I also agree, like, maybe it's not that big of a difference, right? For every pound of draw weight, you lose around 2 feet per second. Well, it doesn't sound like a lot, you know, going from 70 pounds to 55, which most people shoot 55 comfortably, and that's kind of like the argument is like, I don't need to shoot 70 pounds. When you break that down, say someone's shooting around 300 feet per second with a 70-pound bow and a hunting arrow, probably a little bit less, but we'll just say 300 for easy math. You're looking at 15 pounds drops you 30 feet per second. That's a 10% decrease in arrow speed, which is basically another 10% decrease in momentum and penetration. So
right. I mean,
it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you put it in percentage, I'll take that 10% increase all day long.
I mean, that gives you that leeway of, you know, maybe I don't perform when the moment counts and I hit a shoulder bone. The prime example of this was Heidi's first shot at a deer with her bow. I was filming at the time, and she'd been working on shooting her bow. She wasn't able to get as much draw weight as she wanted, but it was a good enough draw weight to say, okay, at 20 yards, you should be able to hit it with a good shot. You're going to be able to put this deer down, right arrow setup and everything. But, you know, when the deer dropped and moved its leg back, it put that shoulder blade right in the way, and it stopped right at the shoulder blade. And it was like, well, shoot, right? I mean, so I mean, that's just one example of many that you can come up with.
Yeah, and something like that's a great example, because a shoulder scapula, especially on a deer, you should be able to shoot right through that thing, and honestly probably get a pass through depending on where you hit it. Now the big knuckle area might be a different story, but he went through an elk knuckle at 70 pounds. He's a 30-inch draw length, so that has something to do with it as well.
Nice.
But he went through the knuckle of an elk, you know, strong fixed blade broadhead heavy arrow. Why not try to maximize everything in your power, just to not be just good enough? And I think eventually in the long run it'll pay off. And it's everything in archery seems like it's kind of cyclical, like arrow weight.
Exactly.
Right now
100%.
Like 10 years ago the rave was get as light as possible so you can have the flattest trajectory, mechanical broadheads, and now you're seeing everybody
like heavy arrows is a new thing. It's like, no, it's not a new thing, guys.
They want to be at 650 grains to shoot Texas whitetail. It's like, come on, guys.
Just give me a stall, but I'm good.
and I like that too, right? Like, that's kind of the same mindset that we're in, but maybe you shoot a little bit more draw weight and you don't have to. So everything's just kind of cyclical.
It's cyclical because people want your money.
That's true. I mean,
you want the honest opinion, guys. It's cyclical because they want your money.
So now we'll address some of the other things. Like, there's some people that seriously think that you can't draw a 70-pound bow slowly or like on your butt or whatever the scenario. Like, people come up with crazy scenarios, like upside down out of a tree saddle. You can't draw a 70-pound bow.
That's the funniest video, by the way.
That's the funniest video. But anyway, we're gonna address some of that. We'll show some clips of me drawing it. My bow is actually 74 pounds, just maxed out. That's what it ended up at. This is a 70-pound bow tech.
So Hunter, why don't you get an 80-pound bow?
Because they don't make an 80-pound bow, and I really like this bow, and I don't want to spend $1,000 for a new one.
Right.
I've been shooting this bow for 3 years now.
Right. So that was my argument with people who's going to comment. They're going to be like, well, why don't you?
Well, no, and that's a great point, because people are saying acting like 70 pounds is such a hard threshold right now, and they're using the other argument saying that bows are more efficient nowadays. You don't need to. Well, yeah, they're also easier to draw, and when they were harder to draw, people were drawing 90 pounds.
Exactly.
It's like, it's not that you should just settle for being good enough. It's that, and people are just, trying less. We'll put it that way. I
Right.
think is.
I mean, it's just kind of in the world we live in. Everybody wants the results now, and they're not willing to put in the effort for it.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to.
So, and it's not hard, right? So we have a video that he made last summer on easy tips for increasing your draw weight. A lot of it has to do with shooting form too, not even pure brute strength. There's a video of Mark Bell on YouTube. He's a really renowned powerlifter, and he could hardly draw Cam Hanes' bow because he had never done it before.
Exactly.
It's a really learned skill. So just shoot your bow,
You
right?
give Cam Hanes a barbell compared to him, Mark Hall. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not going to be good.
Not
So
going to be.
strength is a
AK
learned
Mark Bell.
movement, and like for example, like I said before, I'm not a big dude, but at I think my freshman year in high school, I was already shooting 70 pounds because I had been shooting for years and years.
It's just
and
the movement.
It's just learning the movement.
It's understanding, like that video, which we'll have linked somewhere around here. Like, it's just understanding where your muscles are, your powerful muscles are, and just understanding how you can use those muscles. Once you figure out how to use those muscles, you can maximize it. But until then, you're just kind of struggling, awkward, and put yourself in bad shoulder situations.
Yeah, and this is not for new archers, right? You want to stress that you want to build up over time, and then once you do have the good shooting form, then maybe you can start to do some pull-ups or some band rows or like easy stuff just to strengthen your back is all you really need to do for draw weight. And we can show some of that at the end of the video too, but I'm gonna pick up my bow now and go through some of these scenarios that I just don't think some people wrap their head around, that a 70-pound bow is not anything crazy. So we're just gonna put ourselves in this scenario that a lot of people are saying there's no way you can draw a 70-pound bow if you're doing this. So I'm just gonna.
So should I bring Bigfoot out now, or
Bigfoot running you up a tree?
what if Bigfoot's running you up a tree and you got a tornado coming out at the side with sharks flying out the window?
This is kind of like a benchmark test that a lot of people say is if you can draw your bow sitting on your butt with your feet straight out, and draw it slowly, like if you're in a hunting situation. This is one that a lot of people like to see. And
that was really smooth. Wow.
I mean I've never had to draw it slower than that in a hunting situation. So another one, and this has actually happened to me actually when I shot my smallest buck ever. I was standing in the middle of a CRP field with my girlfriend actually right next to me. Couldn't make a lot of movement, and there was some really tall grass. So what I did was just stick my bow down and then brought it up like that. And actually, that was a little bit harder than in a hunting situation. People like to say in a hunting situation it's harder. Every time I get adrenaline, it feels like this thing's a toy. Like, I don't know why, but yeah, you're standing there, deer is coming in, you want to hold everything a little bit lower. You can draw in the brush and then raise up, or like holding it a long time. It's draw weight, and talking about holding it a long time is irrelevant in my opinion because of the high let off nowadays. So it's going to be such a little difference. It's not really a big deal. Letting down slow, I don't know. I mean,
It's technique too.
it's a lot about just technique and shooting your bow. And actually, I haven't shot my bow in 2 months, so I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm a little bit rusty, but I'll say by the end of summer, it will. I mean, you just get so used to it that it just doesn't even feel like 70 pounds anymore. So if you can't currently draw 70 pounds, here's what you can do, and it shouldn't take too much time to be in better shape than ever and be able to draw 70 pounds. So my biggest recommendation, and the first thing, is watch the video that Trevor made last summer to get your form dialed in, shoot your bow a lot, and then from there, some workouts that you can do that pretty much anyone can do. All you really need is a band and a pull-up bar. Everyone can get a pull-up bar that attaches to their doorway. And first thing, like my favorite back exercise is pull-ups. So just try to get better at pull-ups. I'm not gonna give like a specific rep range because you just have to do what's right for you. Just try to get better at pull-ups, right? So you just a standard pull-up. I feel kind of weird demonstrating.
Yeah.
It's gonna make workout videos. But here's one that's even easier, and this is what I think people do wrong. I don't want you to sit here and act like you're drawing a bow, because wouldn't you just go shoot your bow? And to be honest, when you're drawing your bow, your shoulders in internal rotation. And if you're already doing a lot of internal rotation, you might as well just build the same muscles and do a different movement to try to save your shoulders a little bit. So when you're gonna row with a band, that anyone can get a band, just do regular rows. You don't need to do any fancy rows that are gonna jeopardize your shoulders. So just get back here and just do some rows.
You can hold it at the top too.
Yeah, you can even let your shoulder go forward and then pull it back so you can engage your rhomboids and traps and stuff like that, and then pull it back and squeeze at the top, engage your lat. So anyone can do that one, and that's my biggest tip. So if you just work at it, the point of this video is to show that everyone can draw 70 pounds, and I think most people should if you're in good health. That's gonna wrap up the video. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone too much. That wasn't the goal of this. So hit the thumbs up button if you did, and we'll see y'all in the next one. What do you think?
Admire that gym too.
Yeah, Brunk Outdoors Gym.